Hey, it's Jeff here from NEBR Beer Reviews, and today, instead of doing a beer review, I'm going to be making a chili. And I'm looking forward to doing my first ever cooking video. I'm going to be using, I'm going to be using some ground chicken instead of ground beef because I'm trying to lose some weight. And ground chicken comes in at about 120 calories for serving, as opposed to about 200 calories per serving for ground beef. Got a habanero pepper, got some garlic, got an onion, got some fresh from my own garden, fresh and just picked today, oregano, got some red pepper, got some chili powder, I got some cumin, I got some red kidney beans from Goya, a little marjoram. Marjoram is really good with chicken and poultry type meals. Got these cans of Del Monte petite cut tomatoes, and I got some tomato sauce, and I'm going to get right into it and try to make this meal work. Okay, I'm going to start cutting up the different ingredients that I like to use for something like this. Starting with the onion. It's a pretty fresh onion, I just picked it up today. So I'm going to cut this into small pieces or whatever. Take off the skin. There we go. It's on there nice and tight. Let's put it that way. Okay, a little skin there. This is just a regular standard yellow onion. I like to cut my onions into pieces like this. And you're going to see in a few minutes I'm going to be basically really being lazy. I don't really cut these into tiny little pieces. I cut them into, pieces that are sort of bigger, and then I put them into the food processor to grind everything up because it makes it a whole lot easier. Let's do this habanero pepper. Yeah, maybe I'm being wimpy. I could have probably done a couple of them, but I don't want it to be overly hot. I just want it to have a little bit of a bite. Just a slight bite. Doesn't need too much of a bite. So one of these will do fine. It'll just give it just a little bit of a bite that adds a little oomph, I'd say, to the Okay, next up is the garlic. Nice fresh garlic. Goodness gracious. One thing I hate about garlic is they have all this paper. It's not paper. I mean, obviously it's the skin of the garlic, but I tell you, it is such a pain. And I actually don't have a garlic press. I used to. I don't know what to do with it. I think I lost it or threw it away, or maybe it broke. I don't know. But it doesn't really matter because what I'm going to do is put it in the food processor, and that'll make the garlic really. That'll mix it up really well and make it a much more appealing meal. Okay. All right. Well, the next thing I want to do is put a little bit of olive oil in here. I mean, not a whole lot. Maybe. Oh, I don't know. I never measure. I'm not a measuring kind of guy. Well, let's say just enough to coat the frying pan, set it up to medium, and it's probably maybe a tablespoon or so of olive oil, which I use to help cook up the chicken. You can see I've already opened up this container of chicken, and I'm just going to put it right in here right now. I want to brown up the chicken by itself and then add the ingredients later. So to help brown the chicken, let me get out one of my spatulas and kind of break it up a little bit. And I guess what I'm doing now for the next 5 or so minutes will be basically browning up this chicken. Another thing you can do, and one thing I like to do, is I'm going to add a little bit of pepper to this, just plain old black pepper, which I didn't show off at the beginning. A little bit of black pepper from a grinder. A cheap grinder, but it works. These are 4 different types of peppers, 4 different types of peppers. And maybe just add in just a little bit of, just to season it up a little bit, add a little bit of this Morton sea salt. Big chunks, yeah, but it'll blend in pretty well. And then I'll begin doing the frying up of or the browning, I should say, of this ground chicken. So that's what I'm doing now. All right, I should also add in a little bit of marjoram, because marjoram goes really good with chicken and poultry. Maybe, I don't know, maybe a tablespoon or so. again, I don't really measure. This is actually freshly grown in my garden as well. So, a lot of marjoram to add that additional little bite to the ground chicken. Yeah, just continue browning and browning. I mean, you know, until it gets to the point where you like. I like to make sure when I brown chicken or poultry, you know, I like to make sure it's all kind of a brown color. Make sure all the pink is gone. You know, it's not good to eat too much chicken or poultry that's not fully and thoroughly cooked. Alright, so once you've browned the chicken, you drain it out. So I already opened up the, I mentioned earlier I had the green chili tomatoes that I used that can. I poured those, you know, those tomatoes into a bowl, which I'm going to add later. But then I'm just using the can as a place to hold the, you know, the drippings that I don't need. So you drain out the ground chicken and. I'm actually kind of lazy, so I decided to use my food processor. If you remember earlier, I cut up these chilies, this pepper and these onions and the garlic, and I'm going to put it all in here and kind of break it all down to you know, a nice little mixture. So let it go. I mean, I don't want it to be completely mush. I want to have some chunks in my chili. But what this does is just kind of breaks it up to a point where it's much more usable for me. So take a look at that. There it is. There are a couple of ingredients I forgot to mention at the beginning of this video. For one thing, I'm going to use some frozen peppers. Yeah, I suppose I could have gotten a fresh pepper and cut it up, but I'm kind of lazy. So I'm going to use some frozen peppers, and I'm going to put this entire mixture into a bottle of new Albion Ale from the Boston Beer Company, also known as Samuel Adams. So this chili is going to be simmered in some new Albion Ale. This is when you actually start the beginning of the simmering of the meal. So start right off, I guess, by dumping or pouring, I should say. I used the word dumping. The ground beef. Put this into my pot. Okay. There we go for that. And then I'm going to add a little can of tomato juice, which I also didn't mention before. But a little can of tomato juice. Add that in here. Pour it right in. Yep. There we go. The peppers. They're still a little frozen, but don't worry. They'll simmer down and become quite, you know, they'll mix in really well once the meal gets going. A container of tomato sauce, which I also mentioned earlier, a little tomato sauce. Okay. Here are the petite, the cut and diced tomatoes with chilies that I talked about as well. In they go. Here is the food processed onions and pepper and the garlic, also, which I also put in I also am including the oregano from my garden. That goes in. All right, the cayenne red pepper. Maybe about a teaspoon or so. I'm not really measuring, but about a teaspoon of that. Okay. And about a tablespoon of your chili powder. You probably want a little more than that. You are making chili, by the way, so you want to put a little more of that in there than you normally would. There goes the chili. And the cumin. And here's the cumin. Add that in as well. About, teaspoon to tablespoon or so. Okay. And now, here comes the new Albion beer. The new Albion Ale. Pour it all in there. All right. And as you can see, this is all getting ready to go. You want to stir it up a little bit. So let me get myself a stirring spoon. Stir it up just a little bit. Make sure it's all nicely mixed. There we go. Mix it all in, make it all, really mixed in so it's well done, because from here on out it's just basically going to simmer for a little while. So put this thing on oh, I'd say I'm putting it on 3. That's medium low, and then we will let it simmer for the next couple of hours. I'd say about an hour and a half to maybe 2 hours, and then we'll see how she comes out. Okay, this has been simmering for about 2 hours, so let's take a final look at it. I've been stirring it every few minutes throughout the afternoon, and it's looking pretty good. Take a look at that. A nice mixture of textures and colors and whatnot. So I think this is going to be a pretty good meal. And to top it all off, when I'm ready to serve it, I'm going to put a little Mexican 4 cheese on top of that. And then that'll be dinner for tonight, along with some hot dogs I'm about to heat up. So anyway, that's the way I make chicken chili. So thanks for watching, and I'll catch you again later. Okay, you can